All right.
Right.
So
So Jackson, your demo Airflow. Can you talk to us what Airflow is?
yeah, so Airflow basically just it's like cron, but so many times better. It allows you to create these super custom, super interactive um, workflows. They're called DAGs, and it's just it's so much better than cron. I don't know why the cron jobs weren't working. Like I have the exact same cron jobs for different things on my Linux server, same version, same everything. It's just they refuse to work on AWS for some reason. And
Right.
you know, I and then Michael just said, let's look at Airflow and
And I didn't do anything else. I said just look at Airflow,
yeah,
and that was it. And Jackson just went ahead and did it. Okay.
yeah. So I made another EC2 instance, and it's a very small, gonna be very cheap instance. All it
Did
needs to
you
do,
store your keys in the download folder?
maybe,
Okay, you probably want to move that key somewhere like more
yeah,
secure. Otherwise, you're gonna delete them, and then we're like, oh crap, we can actually SSH into those folders.
yeah.
Delete that
I
machine.
I sent it in Slack, and I have
Oh yeah.
periodic backups of my entire drive. So
Okay. Okay, I should be fine then.
yeah. So the way it
But
works right now is we have this Airflow directory. Inside the Airflow directory, you have configs and logs and stuff like that, but there's this DAGs folder. So if you see into the DAGs folder, you can see that right now we have one DAG. It's written
yeah,
in Python. It's ops.prod.py.
can you talk a bit like how you learn all these things? What are the tutorials and stuff that was very helpful? Like how did you learn all this?
Um, so I looked at the quick start guide, I believe.
Right.
Um, Airflow quick start. Yeah. So
Okay.
I looked at this. So you just pip install it, you initialize the database, and then you can start running like a test server and then a scheduler which handles the scheduling of tasks.
Yeah.
That was like the very basic level. Nothing was daemonized. There
So you
wasn't like
you were you were just like doing this like on your local drive or something.
yeah, I was
Okay.
doing it on my local Hyper-V Linux
Right.
machine.
Right.
And through trial and error, I figured out that if you run them as daemons, they'll run in the background as services, but sometimes they don't stop and restart and update content dynamically.
Mm-hmm.
So like for instance, there's this super basic file that runs daily and has one retry every 5 minutes after it fails.
Mm-hmm.
And so it uses a connection key provided in the actual Airflow uh,
The
GUI to
configuration.
connect to the
Yeah.
yeah to connect to the production server,
Yeah.
and then run this absolute mammoth of a command. I kind of I kind of just made it up on the fly so that it pulls the ID of the Docker container and
Yeah.
then uses it to execute the type form and then the charge be all in one shot.
I see. But this is a server that runs. Wait. So does this run in your ops server? I mean Airflow.
It's a completely separate server that just SSHs into the ops prod server whenever it needs to run this command.
Oh, got it, got it, got it. So it's basically you have an Airflow as an independent server. You
Mm-hmm.
have the keys in that server. That
Mm-hmm.
server will SSH into the ops server,
Yeah.
and then from there, so you change the security settings as well to
Yes.
allow the server to connect
Yes.
because otherwise you won't be able to get in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Airflow is the only user that is allowed to use a password auth, and it's just a 50 character string
got
that
it.
I have saved in LastPass, and it's also saved in the GUI.
Right, right. Okay, so you went through this, and then Airflow itself right now it's actually deployed using Docker though.
No, it's just
I
by
see.
itself on the machine, and then it uses Nginx as a reverse proxy
Got
to
it, got
handle
it, got it.
SSL and stuff like that.
Got it, got it, got it. So it's pretty much from that quick start, right? It just like it's almost similar to our ops server,
Mm-hmm.
right? Except that it's instead of Django machine, it's an Airflow thing. and
Hmm.
then Apache or Nginx as a reverse proxy. Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Reverse proxies are a love and hate relationship, but in this case, it worked out nicely.
I just can't imagine like if you bring your classmates or friends in this conversation,
Oh
they'd be
yeah,
like,
they have no clue.
what? What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
All right, okay, all right. So, all right, go on and show the DAGs and see the task rounds and
All right. So if you go to airflow.ai-camp.org, you'll
Mm,
get directed to this. You can log in as ops admin, and the
right,
password's all in
right.
Slack. Then you log in, you can see right up front, you have this ops prod DAG scheduled to daily. And you can see that the most recent run was successful. And you can see that it is ran 4 times
Yep.
successfully ever since I created it.
Right.
And you can see the last run, you can do a manual run, and then you can see all sorts of statistics about it.
Wow.
So
That's
for
just
example,
beautiful.
it's a very simple DAG, so there's not much to see here.
Right.
You can see that there's this DAG, and then there's the Docker ID run, which
Yeah.
is the only thing that happens. And then you see there's these 4 successful runs.
Yeah.
And then you can have
Beautiful.
metrics of like task duration for how many
Wow.
seconds it took to run it, and then how many tries it takes.
Yeah. Good luck in getting crowned like doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And landing times, not exactly sure what that is. Gantt, I don't know what that is either. And then there's details. There's just some details, and then you can
Yeah.
actually see the code.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah. And if you go to the DAG runs that were successful, you can see when they happened and if they were external triggers or not. And you can also see logs, right? I think you have to go to the actual um, ops.prod. Can you not see logs once it has completed? I believe not.
I've never seen that before. I've never seen that logs before.
Yeah, it was the actual like logs of the running dagger were kind of hard to find,
Oh,
which
okay.
was
So this is
surprising.
this is this is this could be like opportunity, right? Like basically, I think when you think about logs, all of a sudden it's like wake me in a dream or something, as if there's no problem in the world. So there's a problem where I think we need to like pipe those logs, using Sentry or something.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if this is piped into Sentry.
Um, I tried to figure that out, but it doesn't look like it did. I mean, I set the Sentry key in the Airflow configuration. I downloaded a Sentry plugin for Airflow, but it doesn't seem to be sending anything. So I guess I'll have to take a
The
look
kind
at
of,
that.
yeah. Well, maybe it's because the log should be at the ops server. I don't know. We'll figure this out. We'll figure this out.
Yeah.
But I think that would be one of the things that we need to look at. Yeah.
Hmm.
Sentry actually send to Slack anyway, right? Like if there's
Yeah.
any 500. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So I'm just assuming that if something goes horribly wrong with Airflow, Sentry will send a notification. I've just never broken anything badly enough to
Yep.
trigger something for Sentry.
Yep.
But
Yep.
it's fairly easy. We can just like come in and check up every once in a while and see if everything's running nicely.
Right. Um, I think it's also like maybe we need to do a little bit maybe really dedicate time for you and David and Richard just to get the same level of using Airflow
Hmm.
because Richard is going to present how we're going to do the admission procedure stuff. You'll see it's going to depends on these DAGs quite a bit.
Hmm.
Yeah, because literally it's a script of things we need to run through and relies on the DAG to run at a certain schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this is beautiful. Like we got an Airflow at this case. It's beautiful. Like this is a fate. Like I worked at a Blend and I was a little bit sick of data engineering, and I
Hmm.
said, you know what, I can just quit that job and don't touch Airflow anymore.
Hmm.
And then here we go. 2 years later, we have Airflow, and I kind of missed it. So
Oh, there we go.
Spade. Great.
Yeah, I
Nice.
found the
Nice.
actual logs.
Yeah, nice. That
Cool.
is really awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think we should give Jackson a round of applause? That's huge.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. All right. So maybe we have David next.
Okay.
Jackson, you had a fun setting it up.
I actually, yeah, I learned a lot.
Mm.
Never really touched Nginx before, but
It's simple.
it's like the way I would describe it is it's like Apache but Java.
Mm.
Like the semicolons and
Got it.
whatnot.
So, David, we changed our MS records.
Yeah.
So
It,
I don't know if
it
that's going to be a problem.
the last time I tried it was working.
Okay.
So right now, essentially, I added a new email service class in a different Python file that right now only lets you.
Explain us a little bit, like the email service, how you designed it, what's the thought process behind it?
Okay, so essentially, we want something that allows us to send emails through Mailgun, but we want to be able to send it in multiple different places. So it'd be useful to have it in a class, right?
Yeah.
That we can just import and send based where we want it. So I guess me and Richard were talking a lot, or like a decent about like what like I could do, I guess. So this is just the base design that I came up with, I guess. And the one place that we just decided to put first was when the referrer
Right.
goes in to get their link. It's nice to get an email of that link, so they don't always have to come back, right?
Right.
So what you would do is just come here, put in your email and your name, and then as soon as the post request goes through, it should send you a link. Might take a bit, but
yeah, I actually got the link on both my emails for when you tried it, so that worked nicely. It takes like 2 minutes though, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
But let's go back to the code first.
Yep.
Okay, so the email service looks like pretty simple to use. So it's a plain text email. So you have the email address to where, and then email data would be just like subject and text. So it's like a dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I'm considering adding because we're gonna use templates, right? So I'm thinking of a way to somehow import the template from another file and we can just replace.
Yeah, so it could be the template is still a plain text template, except that because right now it's like the text doesn't have any, as you said, data, right? Because it could be I want to send hi David, yada yada yada, right? But right now it's the text is basically basically you don't have oh, I guess you do have it like what you having in line 53.
Yeah, right now it's just using f strings to.
Yeah, but you could say David and what or not, but I do think we should use a template thing, because as I said, I think every aspect of it there's a little bit customization we need to do.
Mm-hmm. And that'll just depending on what sort of emails we're trying to send and where. So one point of contention was in Chargebee, right? We wanted to send emails when someone gets credit, right? But we don't. The problem with just putting this email service in Chargebee is that it doesn't necessarily mean that after they get that credit, we still have to consume it, right? So it doesn't they won't just immediately get the free month. So that's the
right. Wait, so you're saying okay, when someone paid in Chargebee, the guy who referred or the girl who referred that person should get credit. And we should actually notify that person, hey, you got this credit, right? Okay. And so, we could actually put in ChargeBee ETL and notify them that. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay. Got it. Yeah. I think that's fine. Yeah.
If we go, when we do that route, is it just a simple message? You just got one of your friends subscribed, you got credit. Does it matter which friend or?
I think we can send them maybe some information. I think we should, because people are gonna wonder, right?
Yeah, it's like, did this person do it or did that person do it?
Yeah,
like,
just send them a first name or something, so they know. I think that's okay.
But then the contention point is, it's not until someone goes into ChargeBee and updates the status in the table for consumption that they actually get that actually it's been applied, right? Like free credit being applied. Because it's not automatic. Oh, someone subscribes, that person gets free credit. There's some activity that has to occur before the free credit's applied.
Yeah, I mean, so that would be, probably goes back to our operations center, that once you apply credit, you can send an email saying this has been applied. Yeah. Okay. So David, did you get that email? It says delivered.
Did it go to?
The last one looks like the Jackson, right? It's not you. Okay. So something wrong then? Is there any logs? Once you send an email, there's a 200. Oh
yeah, this is the logs for the email. So
no, I'm saying like in the code, we can also do that, right?
In the code, yeah. We could send like,
because look, like this code here, request a post, they're going to give you a response, right?
Yeah.
Response, there's like a status code, right? But then you can say, all right, you know what, like let's log it. We actually, successfully send an email, but you don't want to put an email in there because that's PII. And later on, that can get us all in trouble. So make sure that, when you log stuff, no PII, right? Otherwise, it's giant tech debt.
Do we need to maybe reversible. Is there like a key or ID to say which email, and then we know which email?
Yeah, maybe like we send an email to this, user ID, because user ID is fine. That's not PII.
Right.
Yeah.
Would that just be for logging purposes on staging?
No, this is just login purposes. Like anytime when we have a request outside, you want to double check and make sure that it's actually done, right? So this is basically like a typical kind of I would say like a mistake, right? In line 15, where we request post, we thought everything's gonna be okay, but you know what? We really should do try and accept in this case. So anytime we go outside, we're gonna try and accept. Shit happens, like we need to log it, and then like you don't want the whole application to go down, and then it's like, okay, you want to test the status code, make sure the status code is the correct one, log it. Status code is wrong, log it, right? So then when things actually happens, we know exactly what's happening. Yeah. So basically, software design is like you don't trust nobody, right? You don't trust the user data gave to you. You don't trust external services. Everything's gonna fail. How are you gonna mitigate that fail? Yeah.
So should it be like a try accept into the send plain text email?
Yep. So that whole block should be trying to accept. Yep. Okay. The only thing we can trust is ourselves, is our database. We can't trust the user. We can't trust external services. We can't trust your mom if she's here, right? So, yeah.
Oh wait, I think I know the issue. I was messing around with some stuff before.
Yeah. Okay. What was the issue? You can restart the server and try to get maybe.
Yep.
What happened? Do you know what's happening?
Yeah, I think I know what happened. I was trying to get this
Oh,
so it used to be a 2 in the email data, but then
yes.
I was messing around just putting it as a parameter.
Yeah.
But okay, and it should show up here. Yep,
oh, it says
delivered.
It says delivered. There's
That was quick.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Yep. And
regardless, we need to give David a round of applause. You know, for suffering from your frustration. You know, I was the worst product manager for the past two weeks.
I hate email management.
I thought you were gonna say I hate you, but that's
oh no, no. You're doing your best.
I'm doing my best. I think I need to do better. Not my best. I need to do better. Yeah. Okay. I think that's beautiful. Okay, so naturally we need to plan for our next week. Why don't we just write down the stuff we have right now, and then we give Richard a little bit of time, you know, to maybe present the admission procedure.
Question is, what's higher priority? Just which emails need to be triggered from the referral program or the admissions?
I would say we need to finish the referral thing. It's just not good hanging it.
Okay. So then, did we identify some of the triggers?
Yep. So as I said, let me tackle that first.
Okay.
Right. So I'm just gonna, you know, share this. One sec. You know the drill. Okay. Can you see this single note? Pretty simple. A list, right? Make it bigger. You know, we're all getting older. You know, which is true even for you guys. We're getting older. Okay. So let's see. Right. So, oh my gosh, look at this, Michael. Fucking 2 weeks already. All right. So that needs to be there. Which is doing the automation process for the thing. I think Sentry, we need Sentry for airflow, right?
Yeah.
That should be there, you know.
I just need to break something.
Yep. Test it, right? You know, Jackson definitely get the cron job to down. You know, again, this is a pretty big deal. Okay, you guys probably don't know it. Let me provide more context, right? Like, you know, like setting up airflow at a blend. How long we took? Longer than this. Okay, longer than this. And eventually, airflow become this beloved tool. But you know, sooner or later, you're gonna discover tasks sometimes just won't run for whatever reason. You know, so there are frustrations. But you know, we're gonna deal with that later. We actually got the email service basically up, you know, awesome. I think you guys did all your job. Yeah, you guys did all your job. Only me didn't do my job. The product spec for this. Okay.
I think adding the logging for the email.
Right. Okay, so this is a PR then, PR for David. This is Jackson. At some point, we have to cross-breed a little bit, but you know, that's something we can do later. What else we need to do?
I mean, we have.
We need to test for the whole flow, right? We have never really manually tested the whole flow. Somebody putting credit card, somebody trying something. You know, like I would say, why don't we do this together as a group? You know, I got my credit card here. I can pay myself, right? You know, WeChat can invite me, right? WeChat can be a student, right? And we should try this for the whole thing.
So test in staging or test?
Oh, the production.
Prod.
Yeah,
Okay.
test prod.
So is
the
all the
stuff working, you know?
Are all the what is it called? The variable environments set for production?
Well, that's part of the test. I believe they are, right? But that's part of the test. You know what? I think there's another thing. I think okay, so this could be. I think we need to add some kind of trigger when someone was using the invite stuff. We need to know it, because right now this thing just running in the background. We can know it by looking at admin, you know. But is there any way that we can somehow look at this, you know, like inform us, you know?
Like have a
Like,
Slack message whenever someone creates a referral link.
Yeah, because when you think about this, it's like somebody applied us, we see it in the applications channel, right? If somebody was like using, you know, this thing and copy the thing and did something, we should know that, right? And it's because, you know, like when you think about it, what do we perceive is going to change our actions?
Are we looking at multiple events or just the event they actually generated a referral link?
We can define whatever events we need to see so that we know our products are getting used, right?
If it's
Because
one
right now,
event, it could just be reusing the email trigger to.
right. It could be using the email triggers to do something.
Or we just understand the Slack API.
Yeah, but is that overkill though? I don't know.
Well, easy is reusing the email based on the event, and it just fires the event.
No, that's true, because every time they'll get their link, it'll send an email.
Yeah, because yeah. So
Hey,
that would...
look at this. Look at this. Look at this. There's a Django Slack integration.
Whoa.
Wait. Huh.
By handing your views and models, pip installed to Django Slack.
That's cool.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
That gives us a lot of like fine-grained control if like we want something very specific sent for a very specific event.
I just think we need to have Slack to know where the hell we are, right? And you know, remember, like we're gonna do the animation stuff. Like not only we're gonna see applications, we're gonna see like, oh, people attended this class, you know, people paid for this program. You just want to see that type of engagement, right? In a company, the worst case scenario is like people don't know where we are. People don't know. It's like I should work on this or I should work on that. But if you have these key stuff like exposed out there, the whole company would be like, we don't have enough people to sign up, or it's like we don't have enough people to like go through our trial class because you know what, that trial class is like people, you know, like just don't come, right? Then we know what the hell is happening. So I think, you know, Slack would be like a great usage for that, you know. I'm pretty excited about this.
Do we want to choose one or do both?
What do you mean? Sorry.
There's the Slack integration. Well, I guess so. For the notification for the referral, to get notified if someone creates a referral, like, are we gonna first reuse the email and then also do the Slack, or just go straight for the Slack?
I think we should go straight for the Slack.
Okay.
Because the email, you know what, you're gonna put in a tab, you're never gonna look at it.
Yeah, that's true. You do need to go into Malgun and look at the logs.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, you know, for example, David is like, after this, you know, whole presentation, he's gonna drag that thing into social, right? And that was it. That was behind the scenes, you know.
So basically, it'd be building a generic Slack function, but then you call that function whenever we need it. So, for example, your logging function can also call the Slack function to also simultaneously.
I think sending logs to Slack would maybe overkill.
Well, like not all of them, just a specific event. Like sure. I think there were user events that were captured in the database. Like, so there was remind me, all of our events are being captured in two methods. One is a log being written versus another way, which was it's just updating something in the database, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Credit logs and logs.
Yeah. Credit logs and logs. The credit logs, you know, could be like Slack.
Or it could be as a simple flag to turn on. Kind of have to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I strongly advocate we do something, simple first, just get the referral thing, like maybe it's like, created it, right? Created a referral link, right? Right. Someone created a record, right? A student record via a referral link, right? Someone paid in charge B, subscribed in charge B. Just the we spend about $800, right now, $900 maybe, in advertisement. We got like 3 or 4 people subscribe to us, but when you think about it, that's a great business because, each person is like $200. So it takes maybe like 1 month to pay it back. That's called a payback period. And if it's 1 month payback period, fantastic. Yeah. This means, we teach them for 3 months even. That's already industry standard because industry standards, CAC, customer acquisition cost, should be, maybe 1/3 of the lifetime value of the customer or LTV. But right now we're way more than that, right? So somebody subscribing in charge B, the whole company should celebrate. We should have like a physical bell, or physical like giant bell. Somebody subscribe, just boom, right? Like that. Yeah, and then you guys in Texas would hear it.
That would
whole
be
nation
awesome.
would hear it. That would be awesome, right? So,
you should code like a Raspberry Pi to do that. Just play something when someone subscribes.
Here we go.
It just sends out a company-wide
Here we go.
push notification. Your phone goes crazy. Or like
some kind of emoji, somebody with dancing, like that. Has to be some awkward dance. Okay. Let's see. All right. What else we need to do?
Someone applied. Oh no, that goes to Slack already.
Yeah, it goes to us.
Yeah.
I think let's see. I think this is not enough for the whole week. Correct me if I'm wrong, because this is pretty simple. Sounds like this is David, right? Or Jackson want to do it. Who want to do it?
I can do it. I haven't touched the code in a while, so it would be good to look over what's new, get familiar again.
Yeah, your finger is itchy. Yeah, so we should do that. Okay, Jackson will do that. Okay, I think we have 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. If you want to go ahead and present people about that.
Okay.
And we can distill down to like maybe a plan, and the plan would just be as simple as what would be the first thing we need to do.
Where's my presentation? Oh, there it is. All right. Should I show this or should I just show the Notion?
It's up to you, man.
Wow.
This is a little bit more.
Did you see the difference between Richard and me? Richard would have a well-organized thing.
It's not written to explain a whole lot, but these are basically mock-ups. So after talking to Mike, which really helped a lot, where the hell did my Notion go? So basically we're driving things by student states. So these are pre-existing states. Sorry if you can't see this, let me blow it up. And we went through an exercise of capturing states. So there's not applied, admitted, trial class, no show, and going through that flow. And we can go through that flow in more detail later, but I'll go at a high level. So emissions, basically, some things we can reuse from what we see in admin, but the idea is that let's make it more specific for like whether it's the admission process, whether it's we're checking if people attend or not. And the idea is to make as much as reusable code that we can. And so the idea was that once you pop into some site, I know that we were talking about another URL or something, so that only specific people from specific machines can see. But one of the screens they can get to is this preview screen. Oops, sorry. And the idea is that I can see whatever the Typeform ETL brought over, and I can filter by, like, in our case, we're looking for admitted, so filters by admitted, and I'll see all these things. Let me move this here. Oh, I can't move that there. And then, so let's say, okay, I want to review this. I'm going to click on review. Now I'm reviewing an application, and inline, it has like a summary. It kind of goes into more detail of some of the content. So the person who's reviewing it is going to look, okay, all those fields and attributes, I might be missing a few. And they're going to have a couple options here. One is, oh, this moves, sorry. This is just suggestion. You can have radio buttons or whatever, but the idea is that they can change this to whether, sorry, this should be not admitted. It should be
applied.
So I can go in here and just change the status to say admitted. But it doesn't do anything until, and I'm not sure if this is right verbiage, but until they click this button to say, hey, we're changing the state to admitted. But some of the other options is like, I can just change the status without email. Like maybe I'm not ready to look at this one. Or in the case of, I want to see the email that I'm sending out, then I click that, and not sure if this is inline or this is a new screen or whatever. Kind of up to you to like see what you want. But the idea is you would pull that template. You can modify that template, and you can save it, or this is nice to have to revert it back. But the idea is you can customize it to be more personal. It's up to the person, because right now we don't. If there's no time, there might not be time to make it more personable, but having that option would be nice. Like if you actually talked to that student earlier before and you want to just really acknowledge it, then you go here and you can kind of modify that. But then basically you will save that template. And then I guess this would disappear and you go back to this screen, and then you can basically click on next steps. Next step will do a couple things. This could be submit or complete or whatever. We'll just find the right verbiage. So it'll send an email depending on the status, whether if it's accepted or rejected. And then if it's in the state of acceptance, it sends an email saying, hey, come to a free class. And it just has that email that you saved here with whatever customizations, if you have any. Or it sends a rejection, which just pretty much has its vanilla message. And then at the same time, there's this behind the scenes type of activity is that, oh, sorry, I missed one piece. So this is a tricky part. We don't know much about the Gmail API, but the idea is that somehow update either a current existing invite or creates a new invite for that student to be invited to that Zoom free class with a Zoom link. So that there's some details there we probably have to iron out. But then the aspect here is, on the day of the class, in the early morning, there should be some cron job or some automated job that checks the database for students that are about to have that class and sends an email reminder to them. And then basically, yeah, that's that flow basically.
So this whole flow here, could be in this view, Jackson, but it could also be like some kind of status, right? And then we basically have the script, some kind of script. And that's run by Airflow, right? So remember, there's actually two ways to execute stuff now. Mm-hmm. There's one way to do it in Django. There's one way also doing Airflow, right? So that is something we have to like basically, I don't think, we can, see right away what we should do, for the first glance. For right now, don't think about implementation, try to understand the whole flow first. Okay, don't think about implementation, understand the whole flow first. Mm-hmm. And also, question us, if you think the flow sucks, and then we can make modifications.
I think it's awesome. This is really detailed.
Oh, it can go more detailed, but yeah, Mike's like, yeah, don't go that far. I think you guys should have some creativity in how it should look in some cases, because this is just a mock-up suggestion of how it should kind of look. Because I had some other designs, and then after talking to Mike, he's like, oh, let's try it this way, and kind of evolve to this. And in talking to you guys, you might have actually some better ideas on how this should flow too. Because there's probably going to be some checks that needs to happen when you click this button, like against the status, or like a warning, like, are you sure? Like that type of detailed logic is not in here, but has to be thought of. Then the day of the class, one of the challenges in understanding the flow is that when a student arrives, we want to check if the student arrived or not, because one of the things is we try to follow up with those that didn't arrive to say, hey, there's still a chance for you to attend. So it's kind of like going through here, kind of do it's like basically attendance. So there's a list of classes, gives you the total number invited. This is a dynamic number. This current status should be kind of like whether it's scheduled. So this might be a different screen in the sense of opposite to admissions. It's kind of like more, this is a class of all the like these are all the schedule listings. So I'm not sure.
Is this for the trial class?
Yeah.
Or okay.
The trial class. So there's a review, there's a complete, the flow this might be too many buttons, maybe just review. But then once you hit like in review, you can see a list of the student roster and some details about them. And then you can mark like if they're attended, then somehow mark that they're attended. You can undo it, I guess, if maybe you made a mistake. And then this is the part that I'm not exactly sure about, is that once the class is done, you can mark complete. That'll change the status of this class from scheduled to complete, but at the same time, it does a couple things. I'm not sure if you can see if I move this up a bit.
So the reason, sorry to interrupt, but so the reason why we wanted to check they're attended or not is basically once you attend, we need to do something differently, right? Would it be like, okay, now you can subscribe, to the program, and we move on. But if you never attend, then maybe because we have this like classes, we occur anyway. So then we just basically need to move them to a different kind of like sequence, so that to give them the maximum amount of opportunity for them to join us without spending them. Yeah. So that's why we're like doing this. And I think this, could be something like, you just like every single, just like what Richard said, like over here, just have a bunch of buttons, mark attend, and complete, and the whole class sort of like completed, but the student record is actually updated. And the key concept here to remember, even though this flow is quite like complicated, but it's really about different status, of the students, indicate that we're gonna do different things to them, right? So the whole thing is status driven, and that no cases, we have loop situation. Right. So we just like, as you can see here, it's not like you can move from, never attended a trial class to applied again, so, we just have to be very careful with how we move these things. But again, the key concept to remember at this point is status would just mean a series of actions.
Yeah. So I'm not done. I think there is a flow, like once the student is set to no show, and then, we trigger an email to say, hey, come to the next available one. There's some more information. I think we have to kind of set some sort of parameter to say, okay, how many times do we keep reminding them? How many times do we have to iterate through that? Probably have to mock up something or have it go back and reuse something like, instead of a list of admitted, it might be a list of no-show or something.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then you can just reuse the same framework.
Yeah. I think we should restrict ourselves in terms of number of pages.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also these pages, we don't care about the look of it, right? As planned as possible, just focus on functionality and transparency of data, right? So yeah, this could be a lot of fun actually.
So my initial thoughts on this is like, this is like a separate domain, like students.ai-camp.org, where instructors and other people who have access can log in, manage data, and look at stuff.
I wanted to see if it's possible. We just have one deployment. We don't care about URL. It's it's historical, whatever. We don't care. But, could it be like a URL that we password locked?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, basically keep it simple, one code base, everything one place, one deployment, one infrastructure, make sure, all these things can be reusable. And then, as I said, it's a link that we locked, maybe it's restricted by IP or something like that, so that, we can just reuse the infrastructure that we created.
In order to restrict IP though,
restricting a link per IP would require like on the fly Apache commands, because with AWS all you can do is like block access to an entire machine, I believe.
We can do password first.
Yeah, just password.
Just do password first. Keep it simple. Because our admin is also here anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we just do password first. But I would say do not go and create another server. Do not go and create another test infrastructure. That's the wrong way to doing things.
Okay.
and this would leverage pretty much the same models for the most part.
Same models.
There might be some
modifications that we need to do.
Yeah. Not sure if there's any new. There might be a new table if we're actually listing the schedule of the whatchamacallit, the trial sessions, but that either we create that or have some logic that knows certain things.
Yeah.
But I think the first part is just this piece, this first flow. Yep. Like this check attendance piece is after this piece is pretty much built up.
Yep.
Yeah, there's now that I think about writing specs on this is going to be a little bit stuff. Any questions? I don't. So one is we probably won't be coding this next week, unless
got like more churning to do and stuff.
Well, I think the priority is if the things that Michael already wrote down gets done, then maybe we can start looking at these sooner. I think the first, I'm not sure.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay, let me stop.
Okay, look, I think it's right. I don't think we should look into. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's right. I don't think we're gonna look into that just yet. I think for Witcher is really like, playing out the first few tasks for the. I mean, we can do that together too. Plan out the first tasks for the admission. Right, because for example, David got the logs I need to do, and also just like implement the email triggers, right? That's assuming that I can get this done, right? And David need to do this anyway, and Jackson got this guy anyway, and Jackson also need to get a sentry for Airflow. So I think that's like good amount of work that we can do for this week. I mean for next week. I mean we're just gonna see where we're at, right? And if we, for example, we're we're ahead of schedule, let's actually plan for something for this. And again, plan for this is not boil the whole ocean, right? To get the whole plan out, but just for next week, what are the three tasks for next week, right? That we should do, right? Put it simple. And you know what? We should also like set a deadline for this, right? Just like, do you guys remember like how we set deadlines?
By week?
I mean, what happened was like we had a deadline, we had a deadline for the email stuff, and that was super helpful, right? Because we had a deadline, we got it done. This thing, the first part, what is it? The admission, automation, and not really about the check your attendance. I think this should be done in a month. What do you guys think?
I think
we should put a deadline though.
I think it's doable. If we have it done by October 20th, say.
Yeah. I think this is doable in a month. You know, if you know Django and all that, you know, plus the email infrastructure is ready, right? Email infrastructure is ready, and we just need to get down to like, okay, how we exactly going to implement this? Is going to be Django View or Airflow itself? But either way, you're gonna have you know, like experiences already.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Then admission, automation, 1 month, attendance, automation, like another month. So that should be enough. I mean, of course, like the faster you can push it, the better. Richard, you're gonna take out the plan, right?
Yeah, it makes me think I gotta do a work breakdown structure, but I probably needed to do with the guys to see what logically makes sense.
Yeah. Are you guys excited about what's coming next?
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
wait. I heard David said, "Well."
No, I said, "Whoa!" Like we're moving on to the second project almost.
Yeah, we're chugging.
Yeah.
I thought David says, "Well, you know, Michael, to be honest."
So the emissions, whole screen and everything, while it's not like, doesn't need to be super beautiful, there's a lot of little details.
This is why we need to simplify it.
Yeah.
Right. This is why we need like once you get into demo, it's like, okay, that means we need to cut. That means what is the most important thing? That means how can we simplify this so that less pages, less actions, and we can reuse a bunch of stuff and we can get this done. Right. I think if you boil it down to just the fundamental stuff, I think we can get it to some place that's really good. Man, we got these people applying, which is really young. It's like 9-year-old, 11-year-old.
Yeah, that's crazy.
you know, just a year later, we're gonna have like developer who are like 9-year-old, 8-year-old. We're gonna use them to replace you guys. Okay.
I don't know about that.
And then, you know, a few years later, it's like, you know, we need to hire a diaper director because all our developers, they're like in diapers. So, yeah. And the requirements would be like, you can stand like strong odor. You know, there would be strong odor test. Okay, that's a bad joke. I better scale back. Okay. 509, we're a bit of past time, you know, but it's always good to see you guys. Feels wonderful, you know, to have Witcher here. You know, you guys keep on, you know, be awesome, get stuff done. And I think, you know, we should feel proud of the stuff we do. I'm going to post this video on YouTube and just say, look, we have our students as developers and look at the stuff they talk about, you know? Okay. But of course you have strong objections. I will not do that. Okay, David, that's for you. You know?
Okay.
All right.